Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about the new collaboration between Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne. They just came out with a whole collection, but what I picked up were the two eyeshadow palettes. So they have this beautiful Kaleidoscope Dream palette, which is your like super shimmery, colorful, fun palette. And then they also came out with this neutral palette, which actually pairs really well with the Kaleidoscope Dream. This is the Daydream palette, and you've got 5 beautiful matte, all matte neutrals. So I'm actually, spoiler alert, like loving both of these palettes, but we will go into more details, and I also have a demo at the end if you want to watch that on how I got this eye look. I'm not a makeup artist, this is just what I did. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get into it. We'll start with the Daydream palette. Super cute packaging. Whoops, I have it backwards. You've got this frosting, and then you've got like the Kristen Leanne with the heart around it. Sturdy cardboard, which I love because it's lightweight and easy to travel with and doesn't take up a lot of space. And then we have these beautiful matte shades. I am in love with this palette. I did not expect to love it as much as I do. Although when I saw it in store and swatched it, I was like, yes, I have to have that. It's such a good palette. It's beautiful all on its own, but it also, like I said, pairs really well with the Kaleidoscope Dream palette. These shades are super buttery. They blend like a dream. If you really like the Naked Basics palettes, which I love, that's like one of my favorite formulas, you're gonna like this. This palette it's like the same kind of formula. It's just like new neutral colors. So this is just a palette that I have been loving. I'll go ahead and swatch them for you. So Lucy here, this is just a beautiful brow bone highlight all over lid color that helps with blending out and everything. Love that one. This one, Daydream, is like my perfect warm crease color. You can also use this one in the crease or like all over the lid, and this is 1212. And then next one here is Subscribe, which is beautiful, like under the, on the lower lash line or in the crease or on the outer corner, however you want to do it. And this chocolate brown is absolutely gorgeous. It's almost got like a little bit of a purple kind of to it, and I love this color in the outer corner. It's great for just deepening that look up. So fabulous palette. Really happy with how all of these perform. It also comes with this like cute little brush. And I am loving this like little tiny, it's like this, it's a super tiny kind of flimsy end, but it works perfectly for in the crease, for the lower lash line, for, doing like a brow bone highlight, inner highlight. Like, it's a fantastic little brush. And then this is just kind of a standard packing on the shadow brush, which is also very nice. And I absolutely love the color. It reminds me of the Little Mermaids. And one of the best things about this palette is the price point. In my opinion, I buy high-end makeup, so like I'm used to those kind of prices. But it's $26 for 5 shades and a brush, and it's a collaboration, which usually like I feel like costs a little bit more. So I think this is a really good value. I'm not sure how much the Naked Basics palettes are, but I feel like those might even be a little bit higher priced than this. They do have, of course, one more shade, but this is just a really good value in my opinion. Moving on to the Kaleidoscope Dream palette. This palette, it's really fun, but it is a challenge, and you have to be careful with a lot of the shades in here. I'm more of a light toned kind of gal. I'm not really comfortable with super dark smoky eyes. I never use black. So this is a challenge for me, but like the dark tones that are in here minus the black, like this dark deep purple and this deep blue, excite me. I love blues, I love purples, so I like what I have to work with in here. It would be nice if they had like one matte brow bone highlight, but overall it's a really fun palette, and you can easily pair any matte palette with it to make your look a little bit more cohesive if you want to. I think you can do a complete look with this palette, but I prefer to pull in something matte. In regards to the layout, I know that this is going to bother a lot of people because it does bother me. Or it did. I should say it did. It doesn't really bother me that much now that I've seen it in person and that I've been playing with it and that I have it. but when I saw it in pictures, I was absolutely not gonna get this palette because of the layout. Like, it's not even or symmetrical, like it has different shapes and sizes, like that kind of bothers me. My favorite color in here is this Lime Time, and this Lime Time is the smallest shade. That bothers me. That probably is the thing that bothers me the most about this palette. But despite that, like, I still really, really enjoy this palette. So let's just go ahead and get into the swatches, and I'll kind of talk about each shade as we swatch them. So I'm gonna start here with Spitfire. This is a beautiful pinky purple kind of shifty shade. It's so pretty. I like to use this one all over the lid. I have used it in the crease. I have used it on the lower lash line. It's gorgeous. One of my favorite shades in the palette. I'm gonna say that about like half of these shades. Next one we're gonna go into is gonna be Stay Gold. This one is also really gorgeous, and I really like it as just an all over the lid kind of look, or popping it into the inner corners is also really pretty. I like to pair these two, so I'll put this one all over the lid and then stick this one into the crease, and that is really pretty. Okay, next shade that we have here is this orangey beautiful shade. This is Tahine. It doesn't swatch super pigmented, but I really, really like it in the crease and on the lower lash line. I haven't tried it like all over the lid or anything, but it is a really pretty color, as you can see there. And I like that it's not full pigment like the other ones, because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. You know, you can build it up if you need to, or, you know, it doesn't automatically give you too much color, if you know what I mean. Okay, next here we're gonna go into these two blues. Whoops. So we have LCW and TRM. Now there are reasons behind all of the names, but I can't remember, you know, what they are. So we have that one. Oh, so pretty. This beautiful electric blue, and then this deep dark navy. It's so pretty. Ooh, look at those. So this kind of turquoisey blue, I like that one like all over the lids, but I prefer to use my Smashbox primer water with that one, like wet my brush after I've dipped into the product, because you just get more intensity, and like this blue shade is a shade that I want to be intense on my eyelids. This deep dark blue, it's beautiful, but you'll see in the demo, it can be a challenge to work with because it is so heavy and so rich in pigment. It can kind of make a mess really quickly, and it sort of leaves a stain on your skin, which is not great. I mean, it's good for lasting power, but it's not great in terms of, you know, if a little bit of powder like gets here, you got some fallout, and then you try to wipe it away and it turns into this big blue mess. So, you know, I have ruined my eye looks with this color before. So you have to be really careful with it. I definitely recommend using a setting spray or something to kind of keep that color like all in one place so it doesn't fall anywhere. And that'll also give you this kind of intensity. I should also mention, I like to use my fingers with these kinds of shades, not the matte. The matte I use a brush for, but with these like super shimmery shades, using a finger is going to give you the best pigment the most quickly, and I feel like you can even blend out with your finger better than you can with a brush. That's just my personal preference, but you can use a brush, but it is gonna get everywhere, especially if you're using a brush and no setting spray. Okay, next two shades here are going to be this purple and this like gorgeous coppery kind of color. So you have Dye and Corona. See, I've got like this blue powder. I don't know if you can see, the little specks are kind of flying around my hand now. So there is that Corona shade, and there is Dye. Now this purple one I found to be like a little bit streaky kind of when I applied it with a dry brush, but with a wet brush it looks beautiful. This one, the Corona shade, is a pretty chunky one, but again, if you use your finger, it works great. You could also use a wet brush. So those are beautiful. Okay, so the last two we have here are this black shade, which is 13th Floor. I remember the reason for that name. That was like an episode of Twilight Zone. Kristen Leanne's favorite episode of Twilight Zone. And then we have Brixton and Leo. Okay, so here are those three shades. So this more blue tinted one is Leo, and then the white one is Brixton, which has kind of a pink shift to it. And then here's the black, 13th Floor. So there's the black. Now I don't use blacks, so I can't speak to how it performs, but it swatches really well. Here's Leo, so the blue shifty one. And then Brixton, pink shifty one. Now these, I haven't really used them on their own, but over other colors they work really well. The blue shifty one is more sheer, so I feel like that one works better over other colors. Okay, so I'm interrupting this video because I realized when I was editing that I forgot to show you the swatch of this shade, which is Lime Time. That also happens to be my favorite shade. I can't believe that I didn't show you the swatch of that. So that is what it looks like. And then here is the swatch with the duochromes on top. So on the top, we have the white pinkish shade, which is Brixton, and then on the bottom we have Leo, which is the shade with more of a blue shift to it. So you'll see this again if you watch my demo, because that's what I've got all over my eyelids. Okay, so I did want to kind of show you how those shifty colors, the Leo and Brixton, how they work in terms of changing the colors. So on this side I did the blue shifty one, which is Leo, and then on this side I did the pink shifty one, which is Brixton. And then in the middle I tried to leave like the original color, so hopefully you can kind of see how the color changed with the different duochromes on top. Really stinking pretty. So now that you've seen the swatches, you can kind of get a better idea of, you know, what the colors are like, what you can do with this palette. Overall, you guys are probably wondering, is this palette something that you should pick up? Or, you know, is it worth it for the $39 price tag? I did forget to mention that it does come with a dual-ended brush. I don't like this brush as much as I like the one that came with the other palette, but it does have a nice smudging end and then a good fluffy blending side as well. As far as the shadows, you saw the pigmentation. There is fallout. It can be a little bit challenging to work with. I don't feel like this is a palette you can just quickly put on and go. This is a kind of palette that makes you want to just keep going and keep using more and more colors. And because of that, you can tend to go a little bit overboard with the looks that you do with this palette. So you do have to be careful with that. You know, I have had to start over because I've done like too much. But you can get a really good variety of looks out of this palette. It's, you know, you've got all these fun colors to work with. With these two like duochrome topper shades, you can go crazy. You can have so many color combinations. Like I can't even count how many color combinations you can get just by using these transformative type shades. So for me, I absolutely think that this is worth it. But if you're not an all shimmer, like super colorful type shadow lover, you know, this might not be for you. If you're a beginner with color, I might not recommend this. A beginner with color, I would recommend something more matte because those are just generally, I think, easier to work with. But if you've been experimenting with color and you want to kind of up your game, I think this is a really good palette. It's definitely a unique one in my collection, and I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, so I definitely would repurchase this. I would pay full price for it. Definitely a good buy. I love this palette. As far as the Daydream palette, I actually like this palette even more. It's just a very, very easy palette. If you love neutrals, I think that this is fantastic. Now, I'm not gonna say that these are like super unique colors. I could probably dupe most of these in various palettes in my collection, but I love that they're all in one spot. I love that, you know, I know exactly what to do with this palette. It's just very, very easy, and it also pairs well with more colorful, crazy palettes like the Kaleidoscope Dream. So overall, I think that both of these palettes are fantastic. It just kind of depends what your preferences are. So that is it for my review, but if you want to see the demo on how I got this eye look, and then also some of the struggles that I had with particularly that dark blue shade, then please go ahead and keep watching. If you're not going to watch the demo, thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye! Okay, so my full face is pretty much done. I have already primed my eyelids and done everything else except for my lips. So let's just go ahead and get into the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Daydream palette. I'm gonna go into this white shade, which is Lucy. And I'm just gonna put that all over the lids. Okay, and I want to go in with this green shade all over the lids because this is like my favorite one in the palette. Stinks that it's also the smallest. And yes, I use my finger. That's just how I apply shimmery eyeshadows. Okay, now I did get some here that I didn't want here, so I'm going to take that off with a Q-tip. I'm going to top that off with a mix of Leo and Brixton. I just like to swirl these together and put them on top. Ooh, so pretty. I love how this transforms the color. Oh, you get this beautiful like Tinkerbell green. Okay, I am gonna go back into the Dream eyeshadow palette, and I'm gonna take this like small fluffy ended brush to put into the crease. I really like the size of this because it makes it really precise. I think I'm gonna just take Daydream here and stick that into the crease. Tap it off. And as I get older, my lid space like shrinks as like the skin below my brow kind of goes down. So I do put this color a little bit above the crease. It kind of gives the appearance, I think, of bigger eyes when you do that. So you're kind of faking your crease area. Cleaning this off before I go into another color. Back to the Kaleidoscope Dream palette. I think I'm gonna go, I might mix these two, but I'm gonna start with LCW and put that into the crease as well. We've got some fallout here, but I'm gonna clean that up later when I'm all done with everything. So next, wish me luck. I'm gonna go into TRM, and I'm gonna put that a little bit, I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly, but we'll see, probably a little bit into the crease and then just outer corner. But I have ruined eye looks with this shade and gotten it all over my face before. I'm a little nervous. Because this end of the brush is more forgiving, I am gonna go in with this end of the brush in that color. Okay, I think I'm gonna actually go with this end now. Oh, I'm scared. Alright, so call me crazy, but I am gonna put some Smashbox primer water on here to intensify it a little bit. Very carefully putting this on the outer corner. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this brush and just kind of blend that out. Switching ends, I feel like I need it to be a little bit more precise to help me move that color. Okay, now I'm gonna take a Q-tip and clean that up because that's gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, the issue with this particular color is that it stains. So if you get fallout with it, you're kind of screwed. Okay, so that's pretty well cleaned up for now, but I am gonna have to go back in and put my face makeup on that I just removed with eye makeup remover, trying to get rid of that color. So yeah, this is what happens with that color. It's gorgeous, but if you don't use it correctly, you got a problem. I'm kind of bummed that I have to do it on the other eye now to make it even. Well, this side's going on much better, probably because I started with this end and I started using the primer water from the get-go. Still getting a little bit of fallout right here. I'm gonna try to just brush it away, but kind of. Oh, that actually worked. So I'm gonna go back in with this guy and then blend that out. We're just gonna go all the way into the crease here. Just blend, 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 blend. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Cleaning off my brush. Okay, back into the Daydream palette, I'm gonna take this shade, which is Subscribe, on the lower lash line as the initial like blending out color. Okay, next I'm gonna go into this shade, which is Spitfire. It's this beautiful pink purple shade. I'm gonna put that also onto the lower lash line. And this time I'm actually gonna take a smudger brush from Urban Decay and just kind of stamp that close to the lash line. And I am gonna go ahead and spray with the Smashbox so that we get a more pigmented, I mean, it's a pigmented color, don't get me wrong, but this just helps with like the preciseness and the boldness of the color. Okay, so I'm going to pop on my Essence Lash Princess mascara and do my lips, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I put on my Lash Princess mascara from Essence, and then I also did a waterline eyeliner from Marc Jacobs. This is the shade Lunatic, which is this really pretty, like, light, sparkly lavender. And then I realized that I forgot to do an inner corner highlight and like my brow bone highlight, so we're gonna go ahead and zoom in and do that right now. Okay, so for my inner corner highlight, I'm just gonna do the white shade and put that into the inner corners with my Too Faced pencil brush. These duochromes are pretty chunky, so I don't get fallout everywhere. I am gonna spray this down. Pop that right there. And then for brow bone highlight, I'm just gonna pop this like right here, and then I'm also gonna mix it with the duochrome, the white pinky one. So here is Lucy. And we're just gonna top that off with Brixton. So here's the completed eye look. So that wraps it up for the demo. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know what your favorite colors in this palette are if you've picked it up or if you're planning to get it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.